The Calgary Flames have filled their power play coach vacancy left behind by Marc Savard, and it was done by making a sneaky good move. Now, head coach Ryan Huska decided to stick with someone he is familiar with, and we're going to break down the new coach's plans to keep the Flames power play firing on all cylinders like it was towards the end of last season. But before we do that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. But let's hop right in and talk about the new power play coach has been named. And it's funny because it is the new power play coach, but he's not necessarily a new coach. He was already a part of the Flames coaching staff. May I introduce to you, in case you didn't know his name, Mr. Cale McLean. So, give them a framework. This is a good article here by Chris Wall of the Calgary Flames. And he said McLean adds power play responsibilities to portfolio as Flames coaches hold summer meeting. So it has been decided that it looks like McLean will be taking over the reins from Marc Savard, who of course, kind of in a weird way, was always seemed like he was going to be going to the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially as soon as Berube got hired there. I don't know. There's something a little fishy going on there. But either way, we said sayonara, and we are very welcome to the idea of bringing in McLean, someone already part of the organization. Maybe a little bit of a sneaky way to do some hirings, not really within our organization. But either way, let's hop into the article here. So the Flames power play started to percolate in the final weeks of last season. Under the guidance of Cale McLean, it's ready to hit a full boil come the fall. Yes, we have loads of optimism, tons of opportunity to really get something going here, as he's already familiar with the guys who started to make it click down the stretch. The Calgary assistant coach has added power play responsibilities to his portfolio for the upcoming campaign, and he's ready to help develop a strategy for his playmakers, a foundation to help the Flames take advantage while on the man advantage. Now, yes, when we had Johnny Gaudreau, it seemed like we just used the same system over and over. You know, he would try and skate it in. If it worked, great. Some seasons it was really good. We got loads of points. Other times it didn't work too great, and nothing really changed. We lost Johnny Gaudreau. We brought in Huberdeau, maybe not quite the same at doing what Johnny could do. They're both Johnnies, really. But either way, you know what I'm saying here. It seems like the Flames power play didn't really have a functioning system over the past couple seasons, except for the last maybe month or two of the season that just ended. So let's continue into the plans revealed for the power play going into next year. And it's exciting. It's exciting to hear a coach actually say some stuff about wanting to change things up and finding a good system that works. You know, fundamentals. Because, look, Marc Savard was here for a couple seasons, maybe a little bit more. I never once really heard him speak out at all. So it's interesting that already we've got some talk from the new power play coach. He said, first of all, really excited. Really grateful for the opportunity in terms of having the trust shown in me by head coach Ryan Huska and GM Craig Conroy in terms of getting a chance to work with the power play. McLean beamed during a break in the Flames summer coaching meetings held this week at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Very excited with the options that we have. We had a power play that at the end of the year last year really caught fire, and I think there are a lot of aspects of that we want to continue to push on and make sure that with the tools that we have in terms of the shooters and the skill, that we're in a position where we can get off on the right foot. And that's already so refreshing to hear. But to me, it sounds a lot like they're going to really hone in on the skills of certain players, whether they're passers, skaters, shooters, whatever it is, and make it work on the power play. Not just putting simply out your most or your best players, or in some cases your highest paid players, to try and pad their stats. No, you got to get something that can work, and this is very, very good to hear. If we continue, McLean and Huska have a working rapport. They've spent 3 seasons together at the NHL level, in addition to a shared campaign at AHL Stockton in 2017-18. That shared time together leads to a shared mindset, and Huska agrees that keeping a keen eye on successes enjoyed by other NHL clubs can lead to innovation and ideas here at home. They already know what they're talking about. If they're on the same page, then they can really make something work together. I know the power play, whenever there's a power play and a goal, let's say you give up a shorthanded goal. who does the camera always point to? Well, usually it points to the player who made the mistake, but then it goes to the head coach. It's not always on the head coach. The head coach has something to do with it, but having a head coach and a power play coach on the same page here is really, really nice. I never truly got the feeling about that with Marc Savard and Huska, as Savard, I believe, was brought in by Sutter. Don't fully quote me on that. That's just me going off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Savard was brought in by Sutter, and it kind of worked and then didn't work at all, sort of thing. I could be totally wrong on that. But anyway, let's continue the article to save me here. McLean inherits a unit that improved vastly over the final stretch of last season. In fact, over the final 6 weeks of the 2023-24 campaign, the Flames had the NHL's 5th best power play, converting at a rate of 27.1%. Yes, and it helped them win down the stretch, which made them end up picking 9th instead of potentially even top 5. But either way, I think we're all happy with how the draft went. Nazem Kadri scored 6 of his 10 power play goals over that stretch, while the quartet of Kadri, Kuzi, Sharangovich, and Huberdeau combined for 41 power play points. There's talent abound, McLean is well aware, and he's eager to see his man advantage specialists harness their creativity this winter. And I don't think that's just him we're speaking about here. I think all Flames fans are excited to at least see some goals. Look, if we're not the most competitive team, we still want to be in good games, maybe high scoring games if that's what it takes. You know, your 4-3, 5-4 kind of games. We don't want to be losing every game 1-0. That's just horrendous. If we're not going to be competitive, we could at least score, and the power play is, of course, the place to do it. Now, that support comes in the form of what McLean terms a framework, a set of guiding principles to ensure Calgary's power play formation is consistent and multifaceted. It's not just one thing the same time, like I was saying, that we experienced with Johnny Hockey for almost a decade. But there's a mindset McLean will preach of his players as they drop strategies over the course of the season. Just hearing the words strategies, formation, principles, framework, guiding is so nice to hear, because it kind of seemed like we were a team kind of playing without any of those and we're just playing hockey sort of thing, but not really getting down to it. Now, here's a quote. First and foremost, you have to come out with a 5-on-5 mentality in terms of how we approach the work ethic and the compete part of the game. You have to stay on your toes when you're on the power play. You don't want to be giving up any shorties. Because we're a man up, we're playing against 4 really hungry skaters, and we have to make sure that our intensity level surpasses what the penalty kills are going to bring. And I know that's not exactly news and it's not groundbreaking, but it's very nice to hear that, look, you have to stay on your toes. If you have a lazy defenseman kind of running the power play, or a lazy skilled guy who's not going to track back as much and might have a bunch of giveaways, you're going to be giving up shorthanded goals. I know we did quite a bit last year. We need to fix that especially. September can't come soon enough. It totally can't. We're all excited for hockey, but here's McLean again. The big thing is we have really quality skilled players, McLean said. We have to give them a framework, but after that, we have to allow them to use their instincts to play the game, because that's what they do best. They can feel plays, they can make plays, so we have to make sure we give them the room to do that. Give them a base, they'll do the rest. Hockey comes naturally to them. They can end up scoring. It's so great to hear. Now, before we wrap up this video and get into the comment of the day, I just wanted to show McLean's coaching stats here from his time as a coach since he ended being a player. Now, as you can see there, the last 3 seasons, he has been assistant with the Calgary Flames. I'm sure he'll be a familiar face for a lot of Flames fans who watch a lot of the games or even saw him in person at the Dome kind of thing. Before that, he's been in the organization for a long time. He was with Stockton Heat, the Adirondack Thunders, with the Abbotsford Heat over a decade ago now. Was the head coach of the Stockton Heat. I'm sure a lot of people will remember him from that. Actually, not necessarily the best Stockton Heat teams. I know one year in 2019-20, they weren't bad, and then of course the pandemic hit. But either way, he's got an okay resume in terms of record when it comes to his coaching. Just his coaching record in general. That was a weird way to say that. But either way, he has been pretty successful some years. Hasn't really ever gone far in the playoffs kind of thing. But look, that's not exactly what we are focused on right now. We're just happy to have him running the power play now. Let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, like I said before. And this one has to do with yesterday's video about some of these kind of trade rumors. I know they're bonkers, but they're circulating around. They're doing their rounds right now in the rumor mill. And I like this comment here from Gordon. He said, wingers are a dime a dozen. let's develop the young wingers. Hopefully Kuz can bring a number 1 pick at the deadline. Playoff teams pay the most at the deadline. And look, it's one way to look at the situation of the upcoming UFAs, and Kuzmenko will be one of them. If we do what we did this year, we're going to trade away all of them. Kuzmenko could go for a lot at the deadline. I know many of us, including myself, would love to keep him, especially if he plays well. But look, if the value's high, the price is right, why not trade him at the deadline and try and get a first rounder for the stud? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe and like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.